I'll kind of put it in that format, and it helps it flow a lot better for me. And then I can kind of come back to whatever format I'm using. So it really was, as you said, a pivotal moment, and made me realize that, I'm pretty good at this.
Welcome back to For Entrepreneurs by Entrepreneurs, episode 16. This week is my longtime friend, Monique Poche. She has been with me for, I guess, about 5 years, 4.5 years, 5 years now. Monique is a copywriter. So she helps me on special projects. She has helped me with the property stories that we do for our real estate clients and our real estate market. She has actually been, I guess we call her the ghost author for 2 of my books, Beyond the Mic, and the most recent one, Secrets of the 3 C's. Just an awesome person with a wealth of copywriting knowledge. And I was talking about this the other day in our private Facebook group for Entrepreneurs by Entrepreneurs, is that copywriting is a skill. You can do one of 2 things. You can spend hundreds, if not thousands of hours practicing, going back and reading the Joseph Sugarmans, the Eugene Schwartz, and the Dan Kennedys, and become proficient yourself, which would take a lifetime to do. Or you can align yourself up and find a copywriter that fits your style. You can use them for marketing, you can use them for advertising, you can use them for content. And when you find that one, you need to kind of keep them in your group. And so, Monique, I know that's a long intro, so thank you for joining us and welcome.
Oh, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
I'm super excited to have you. So before we go into like copywriting and exactly what you do and how you construct a story, like give us your backstory.
Sure. I actually, to many people's surprise, started out in accounting. It's actually what my college degree is in. Back in the 2000s, I got tired of being laid off with all the kind of similar, economic downturn that we're experiencing now. I think I was laid off 4 times in 5 years. So I started realizing, this isn't paying the bills, because every time I would get a new job, I would have to take a pay cut, because the economy was so bad. So I knew I wanted to do something creative. Decided that writing was going to be it. And of course, I still needed to pay bills. So it's not like I could, go write poetry and pay the mortgage and everything. So I turned to copywriting and ended up really liking it. Took online courses and then decided I like that more than accounting, especially given the circumstances with the economy, and decided to leave corporate America and do this full time.
So how long have you been a full-time copywriter?
This coming Monday will be 8 years.
8 years. And so, like, how did you find your niche? Like, how did you figure out, like, okay, I like writing, I like telling a story and leading a reader through getting from here to getting down to here, where they might be purchasing a service or coming to a belief system that you want them to get to? Like, how did you learn?
A lot of that came through in the training. They kind of show you, how to, put together a good headline to grab people's attention. The lead, which kind of leads them into the story, tells them, leaves them wanting more, kind of like the infomercials you see on TV. They're always, but wait, there's more, kind of a message going on there. And you're just kind of basically laying out the benefits of whatever you're selling them, whether it's a product, a service, or whatever, and just explaining it and putting that into someone's mind, like how they feel if they would have this product or service. It's really about driving into their emotions and what the difference would be between them not having it now and how different their life will be with this product or service, basically. And just leading them through that story and then listing out what that product or service will do for them.
Yeah, I think that's a huge thing when you're copywriting, when you're writing on anything, is that you want the listener, the reader, to put in their mind, like, okay, I'm going down this path. Like, what would my life be with this and what would my life be without this? And you want
Exactly.
to have them go on this fork and have some emotional connection to the product or service that you're trying to convey. Um, so what is it that you wanted to accomplish, like that led you on your journey? I know you said that you didn't like being in accounting, being like laid off, and also
Mhm.
having pay cuts. So like, give us, the journey, and then like, how did you find the superpower?
Um, Through the training that I took, talking to different people online, because I was already interested in writing, so I was, on a lot of blogs. Of course, the internet was kind of really just becoming what it is today. There's a lot of things that are in existence now that weren't then, 8, 9, 10 years ago when I actually started the training. Um, Realizing that I could be creative, I could have a business, I had control over my income, my schedule, um, and that basically everything was in my hands, which is something that I'd completely lost, given the status of the economy and how things were going. So just like I said, just going through the training and being on forums and having a place to learn and study Dan Kennedy and Bob Lai and all those people, it really made me realize, this is actually kind of fun, because in accounting, you don't really have much opportunity to be creative. So I really found that side of me that really wasn't able to be there being an accountant.
So was there a breakthrough or a pivotal time or a moment when you're like, I can do this? Or was there a piece of copy that you wrote that maybe helped somebody or helped yourself? And like, you know what? I'm actually pretty good at this. I can do this.
Yeah, it actually was a client a couple years into it that had asked me to do a video script. And I had never done a video script before. It was for a YouTube promo.
Right.
I had thankfully at the time taken some script writing classes, but had never really had the chance to apply it. And they were looking for, the actual voice content, but they were also looking for storyboard, to go with that content. And I was like, oh, okay, we'll see how this goes. And it was probably the most fun project I've ever done. And it's still the best project that I've done to this date. It made me realize how much I enjoyed doing video scripting, and it actually helped me in copywriting, because when you're thinking of the visual part of it, it makes it easier, for me anyway, for me to
Hmm.
write. So sometimes if I'm struggling with a piece of copy, I'll kind of put it in that format, and it helps it flow a lot better for me. And then I can kind of come back to whatever format I'm using. So it really was, as you said, a pivotal moment, and made me realize that, I'm pretty good at this. I could do this.
Are there different genres that you like writing about over others? Ones that you're
Um,
really good at?
I would say, not surprisingly, financial copy,
Okay.
with banks, whether it's, credit cards or financial services or whatever. Just because of my background, it makes it easier. They don't, a client doesn't have to really train me on the lingo or what the product does. I'm pretty well versed in that.
Okay.
So that's probably the easiest and most rewarding type of copy, because I can use both sides of my knowledge. I've done a lot of like business opportunity, stuff like that. And I actually enjoy quite immensely doing self-help type stuff, or inspirational,
Okay.
self-improvement type copy as well. I really enjoy doing that, because it's nice knowing that even though, yes, I'm performing a service for a client, but that copy is going to help somebody make some improvement in their life, regardless of what, the product is. So that's always a good bonus to doing that type of copy.
Awesome. You didn't mention property stories.
I don't do those as much as the other stuff, but I do enjoy those, because it is kind of fun looking at different houses, and it's like, oh, that would be fun to live here.
Yeah, so Monique's been doing these. What we do is we do property stories where, and there will be 2 or 3 pages instead of just a 4 bedroom, 3 bath rancher on 2 acres. We try to convey an emotion an attachment before somebody even goes to the house. And we've got like a client intake sheet and a agent questionnaire. And so she's actually written copy and property stories. We've had a couple in Canada. We've had a couple in California that we've done. So it's kind of a service that I offer agents that I know. And Monique is one of our 2 writers that writes property stories for us and does an amazing job. And it's a different service. And it's something that it's awesome when you can connect with somebody like Monique that has can share in your vision. And I'll tell you, if you're thinking of writing a book, and what we did for our last one, can I kind of give you a plug here? You mind?
Sure, I appreciate it.
Okay. So our last book that we did, The Secret of the 3 C's, like what we did was I put together a 21-day course, a training. I recorded audio version. I recorded a video that you can go to YouTube. You can actually pull down the transcript. And Monique was able to take the transcript, and she might or might not have watched the videos, but she was able to take the transcript and weave together a story for us where she, you can't take a transcript word for word and then turn that into a book. Over about a 4-month period, Monique would turn back the chapters to me, and I did the intro and the conclusion, and I edited a couple things to update facts and everything like that. But for the most part, if you're looking to write a book, you can do a audio version, do a video, whatever. And then Monique, if you have the bigger picture of what you're looking to do, she can kind of mold your thoughts into that bigger picture. And I'm super, 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 super proud of this most recent book, because this is about entrepreneurism. The first 2 were real estate, and then a play on Tim Ferriss's Tools of Titans. So a copywriter can be invaluable in your business. And I asked her, I said, do you want to be listed on the cover? She's like, no. Just mention, just give me a thank you. So she's like the brains behind the operation. So I appreciate having you help me out, for sure.
Oh, of course. It's always enjoyable. Like I said, I feel like with every copy piece that I write, whether it's a property story, a book, or a sales page or whatever, I'm always learning things and getting exposed to different things that, normally I wouldn't. So it's a learning experience and enjoyable for me as well.
So when you're writing copy, okay, so I'm an entrepreneur and I need help with a sales letter, okay, to sell a widget. What is your process in writing copy for said widget? Like what they want, like you're researching first, like how do you go from, hey, I'm going to hire you for this project, to figuring out what type of message, what type of copy you're going to write?
I usually will rely on my client to give me the information. I'll have a meeting with them either over the phone or video conference and extract that information from them. Sometimes they have like a product sheet, or maybe they did a webinar promoting the product or something like that. But I'll usually go through a set of questions with my clients and find out, okay, who are we selling this to? Who's the audience? What are the benefits of the product? What does it do? Or what service, what are they going to get out of, going through it? And just going through a series of questions and finding out, all the little pieces of what that entails. If somebody's maybe tried the product, if they have testimonials, sometimes people will have a case study that I can pull from. It's just extracting all those little different pieces from them and possibly their own, customers, to get the information to put together and create a story or a background of what that product or service will do.
So do you write the headline first or last, or kind of when it comes to you?
I usually will start with the headline, but it's always subject to change. Okay. Usually I'll start, formulating that in my mind, and I'll usually, depending on the size of the sales letter, I'll usually outline it out. Like, okay, obviously we'll start with the headline, and this is what we want lead into kind of, talking points about what's keeping that person up at night, and then move into, what it would feel like to not lose sleep at night and how that product or service applies to that. And then, emphasizing all the benefits and of course pricing and what their next steps are to actually obtain the product or service.
Awesome. Yeah, I know when, I've got a whole bookshelf over there on copywriting that a couple of points that I've taken out from like Gary Halbert and Eugene Schwartz is like, they will spend 80% of the time doing the research,
Mhm.
like figuring out what exactly that product and or service is and the differentiating factors of that product. So you have an intimate working knowledge of the product. And once you
Mhm.
know that, the copy's kind of, once you have the process down and your own kind of flair on it, the
Right.
copy kind of flows.
Yeah, it kind of writes itself. Yeah,
Exactly.
definitely.
Exactly. So how would listeners, viewers find you, learn more about you? And since we're for entrepreneurs by entrepreneurs, and most of our audience are entrepreneurs, if they want a copy written, how would they get a hold of you?
The best way is just to go to my site, which is onlinecopyguru.com.
Mhm.
Once they go there, they can see all the different things that the services I can provide. And for each service, you'll see a contact page where you can just, go and fill out, your information of what you're looking for and what your budget is and all of that kind of thing. And then I'll get that email to contact them. And I respond within a day or two at most.
When you're working with new clients,
Mhm.
I think it's important to know who you're working with or what type of
Sure.
product or service you're working with. You said you normally either do a phone call or do you have a client intake sheet or a Zoom call or what are you doing now with technology?
I set up, I send them a Calendly link and they can pick a time for that works best for them to contact me, and I'll get on the phone and get a feel for, again, what they're looking for, if they're looking for just one little piece of copy, if they're looking for a whole sales funnel, or if they're just looking for consulting, and just get an idea from that, their budget, what they've done in the past. Are they a complete new startup? Do they need everything? And just kind of get a feel for where they're at, why they need the copy, if there's anything else I can help them with, and just kind of go through a set of questions and figure out, how best I can help them.
Awesome. Awesome. Any last things you want to add before we wrap it up here?
Not really. I am looking into kind of taking a little bit of a detour. I'm still going to be doing copywriting, but I'm also looking into helping other people start their copywriting businesses.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I've had a lot of people with the current times going on. People are saying, well, wait a minute, you've been working from home for all this time. How did you do it? And it's like, well, I think a lot of people, especially given the desperation of the times we're in, they're looking for something that they can pick up and start right now. It's like, no, you've got to, do some training and set up your business correctly, or else you're going to make some mistakes. So I am looking at doing some coaching for that. I did start writing a book on it as well, but it's going to take me a few months to finish. So nothing in the works, nothing finalized, I should say, yet, but I am looking to branch off and do a little bit of peer-to-peer type stuff.
I love it. So would they still contact you through Online Copy Guru?
Yeah, like I said, I haven't had that. I don't have it set up yet, but I am going to be starting it probably by end of summer, if not before that. But they can still go on the site if they're interested and fill out the contact form, the basic contact form, and just put that in the messaging, and I'm happy to help.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Monique, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me.
I appreciate everything you've done for me. Episode 16 of For Entrepreneurs by Entrepreneurs. Monique Poche, and we are out.